What?
Go too early. Got plenty movement off the ball.
Boots, toques and scraped knees on a rugby field in Stockton-on-Tees, Northern England.
Where's the runner? Get him in there.
This is where you'll find volunteer coach Keith Bell twice a week, no matter the weather.
And let's communicate, yeah?
He says it saved him.
You know, in some ways it kept me sane. You know, having a place to go where I was just accepted as who I am and got on with what I did.
Don't dip your knees when you pass.
Bell has carried a criminal record for 20 years, a victim of what's being described as the widest miscarriage of justice in British history.
Look at him, look at him, look at him.
Perpetrated by, of all things, the post office.
Good call, Liam.
That alone should have made it big news, but it's only now grabbing people's attention with the help of a TV series.
Come on, get back there, ready for the next one.
Bell is one of more than 700 sub-post office managers wrongly accused and convicted of stealing money from the post office between 1999 and 2015.
Hi, Keith. I'm Margaret. Very
Nice to meet you. Please
This
come
is-
in.
We've got Jason.
All because of a faulty IT system installed by the post office itself.
The Horizon system just didn't work well. I think I got less than half a day's training on it. You know, it just never seemed right.
Bugs in the Horizon software kept throwing up false shortfalls, but the post office told Bell he was the only one experiencing problems. Sub-postmasters are self-employed and contractually responsible for any unexplained loss. Bell started using his own money to make up the difference.
To the point where I had no more money to put in. And that's when I tried to conceal the shortage. And when audited, I was found out and suspended. And in time was taken to court and prosecuted.
It bankrupted him. Like hundreds of others, he lost his business, his home, and later a job because of his conviction. And he tried to forget it, until an ITV television drama based on the scandal aired here on January 1st, galvanizing the country.
The computer system post office spent an arm and a leg on is faulty.
You're responsible for the loss.
I haven't got that money, and I don't know where it's
Mr.
gone.
Bates versus the Post Office tells the story of a group of sub-postmasters who banded together to fight back.
Ready to tell our story.
Alan Bates, played by actor Toby Jones, is the man who led the battle to take the post office to court, winning vindication for 555 people by proving the Horizon system was flawed and that the post office knew it. That was 4 years ago, and only around 90 sub-postmasters have had their convictions overturned since.
To questions the Prime Minister.
But 8 days after the TV drama aired, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was promising mass exonerations.
That we will introduce new primary legislation to make sure that those convicted as a result of the Horizon scandal are swiftly exonerated and compensated.
The former post office boss, Paula Venables, was also pressured into returning her royal honours after 1 million people signed a petition demanding she do so. But it begs the question, why has it taken a TV drama to bring so many wronged people closer to justice when their suffering was already well documented in the media? We asked the show's executive producer, Patrick Spence.
The Post Office, second only possibly to the NHS, was the most trusted brand in this country. So when the Post Office said these people are thieving, it felt odd to question it.
This is your cash account final.
So the sense of betrayal becomes all the greater when the penny finally drops.
Where's the money, Joe? What have you spent it on?
No comment.
Spencer says the power of drama is its ability to take you inside people's homes and hearts. But he also says Britain's current political climate had a role to play.
We think we've tapped into an even larger rage in this country about not feeling heard by our politicians and by those that run our big companies.
And there's no doubt this is a story about the little guy, about ordinary people standing up against an institution stacking the odds against them. Many of the sub-post offices in small towns were like community centres.
Being postmaster is
Vipin Patel purchased his in the hopes of easing himself towards retirement.
making it neat and tidy is not really that much of a priority.
It still sits at the back of the family store, a monument to his shattered dreams gathering dust.
Because they knew the problems with the system right from day one, we feel a great sense of betrayal by the institutions, including the government and the post office itself.
Patel was accused of stealing a staggering £75,000 from the post office. Just like Keith Bell, he assumed he must have been to blame. He pleaded guilty to false accounting in 2011 to avoid jail.
A lot of people who knew us had doubts and thought I might have been a thief.
He also lost his health, falling into depression, refusing to leave the house, contemplating suicide at one point. His family suffered with him.
I do feel very angry about it.
His son Varcha says some in the village turned against Patel.
There were wanted dead or alive posters circulated with my dad, for my dad. One of them was stuck on our shop door, tried to run my mother and father out of the village.
Depression lifted when they started to fight back, joining Alan Bates' group, and Patel's conviction was one of the first to be overturned in 2020.
So how do you feel about still being here in this house?
This shop is our residence as well, and we have been living here. And if he had sold up and gone away at the time, people would have thought he definitely stole the money and he's run away. But we've stayed put and fought the issues, and we've come a long way since, and now it's been proven that we were not guilty.
But like so many others, he's still waiting for compensation, and there are fears that if things drag on too long, the public anger fueling the push for change will fade. And some of those vilified by the post office are no longer even alive.
Keep it moving!
Back in Stockton-on-Tees, Keith Bell says the public reaction to the television series is what convinced him to join the fight for redress. The knowledge that he won't have to fight alone.
Come, turn and look at him, yeah?
It's hard to quantify a sum in terms of what the sub-postmasters have lost, but he hopes financial compensation will come soon enough for him to make a difference for his family. But what he wants most of all is for his conviction to be overturned.
What will that mean to you?
Oh, I can look my friends in the eye. They've been amazing anyway.